Hi, my name is Conservatorship and welcome to this channel. So today I want to react to this 20-minute audio that Britney released. I already reacted to the Hold Me Closer audio with Elton John, and I thought it would be quite interesting to listen to what Britney has to say and react to it. Okay, I have no idea what to expect. I haven't read anything yet. Here we go.
Okay, so I woke up this morning and I realized that there's a lot going on in my head that I haven't really shared with anyone really. And I've had tons of opportunities, Oprah, interviews, to go on a platform and share hardships or just really anything that's going on in my mind. And I really don't think any of that is relevant to getting paid to tell your story. I feel like it's kind of silly. So
Okay, right, interesting from the start. She's telling that she could have been on Oprah and everybody else, but it feels silly to her to get money out of the story, so she's just releasing it on the internet, which is quite impressive and interesting because she could have made so much money out of the story. And I mean, to be fair, a lot of her family is exactly doing this. I mean, her sister released a book talking about Britney to make money off of her. Her dad had the conservatorship to make money off of her. So this is quite a statement of Britney to say, like, I tell my story without getting paid for it, this is quite an honest and honorable way of telling a story.
I'm here honestly just to open myself to others and try to shed a light has ever gone through hardships or whatever it is, just to put a light on it, and so that person doesn't feel alone, because I really know what that feels like. I haven't honestly shared this openly too as well, because I've always been scared of the judgment and definitely the embarrassment of the whole thing, period, and the skepticism and the cynical people of what and their opinions of what people would actually think.
This is so sad to hear that she didn't open up because she was scared of what people would think of her and she felt ashamed of it. I mean, I can totally understand her. I mean, she was in the spotlight. She was criticized all the time and for everything she has done performing wise to her kids in her life. So she was always under this radar and under this microscope of the world. It's really sad because it is nothing else than blaming the victim, like victim shaming, and this is not okay, and we as a society can't tolerate that, and we shouldn't stand behind this. So it's really sad to hear this, but I get it. I get why she didn't open up earlier.
I do think I'm in a place now where I'm a little bit more confident that I can be willing to share openly my thoughts and what I've been through, because I haven't really had that outlet to share completely openly for so long, just scared of judgments, thoughts of other people and what they think or what they may say. And I think it's crucial for my heart and my head to be able to speak openly about it as if anyone else would. Well, the actual conservatorship actually started, I think, 15 to 16 years ago.
She's really talking about it. Wow.
When it started, I was extremely young. I remember.
Wow. 15 years. I mean, yeah, of course she's 40, but wow, I can't imagine how it is to live your life since you're 25 in this conservatorship. Wow. I'm shocked.
My friends texting me and calling me, and we're extremely close, and they wanted to see me, but by what had happened, I honestly still to this day don't know what really I did, but the punishment of my father, I wasn't able to, see anyone or like anything. And you have to imagine none of it made sense to me. I literally spoke in a British accent to a doctor to prescribe my medication, and 3 days later, there was a swap team in my home, 3 helicopters. And I remember my mom's best friend and my 2 girlfriends. We had a sleepover the night before. They held me down on a gurner. And again, none of it made sense.
Wow. I just try to put myself into Britney as being a 25-year-old that just had a sleepover with friends, and then all of a sudden a SWAT team comes to you, like with helicopters and everything. This sounds insane. This sounds out of a movie.
I remember my mom was sitting on the couch and she said, "We've heard people are coming here today to talk to you. We should probably go, to a hotel or something." And I never really understood what she meant. I didn't believe her. Like, is a lawyer coming here? Who is coming here? Then 4 hours later, there were over 200 paparazzi outside my house videotaping me through a window of an ambulance holding me down on a gurner. I know now it was all premeditated. A woman introduced the idea to my dad, and my mom actually helped him follow through and make it all happen. It was all basically set up. There was no drugs in my system, no alcohol, nothing. It was pure abuse.
This is crazy to say. I know why she took so long to say this, but to say that your parents abused you at this point is... You have to process that within yourself before you can open up to the world. So,
and I haven't even really shared even half of it. I think the main thing I do remember when it started was my dad's control. He loved to control everything I did. I remember the first day he said, "I'm Britney Spears and I'm calling the shots." And I'm like, alrighty then. My brother was a football player. My dad was really, really hard on him when he was younger, really abusive. And I think when my mom gave him the idea for the conservatorship and his friend, I think he just really regrouped it and made such a really, really overhauling big deal out of it. And it was just really too much. I remember him always being in the office, and my girlfriend was his assistant, and they would just stay in there all day with the door shut, and I was never ever able to leave or go anywhere. My first job after the 2
wow, this is really shocking.
weeks of being hospitalized and completely traumatized out of my mind, I did a TV show called How I Met Your Mother, and then I started working on an album called Circus, and started working away right away. All I do remember is I had to do what I was told. I was told I was fat every day. I had to go to the gym. I had to just, and I never remember feeling so demoralized, and just, they made me feel like nothing. And I went along with it because I was scared. I was scared and fearful. I didn't even really do anything, and I had like a swap team, and how, like, none of it made sense to me. So since that day, I did probably 4.5 tours. I did an album, Circus, Femme Fatale, Britney Jean, and Glory. And then I started doing a Vegas show in Las Vegas, and I did that for 4.5 years. I do remember working, and I got to a point where, because my pride in my 30s, I have to live under my father's rules, and, the dancers are playing and drinking and having fun at nights in Vegas, and I couldn't do anything. And I remember just being like, my performances, I know, were horrible. Like, I even wore wigs, and all the dancers were doing all these nice, sexy head flip turns, and I had conditioner treatment in my hair and like these little caps over my head, and just during a whole show getting conditioner treatments just with wigs on, because I was just like a robot. Honestly, I didn't give a fuck anymore, because I couldn't go where I wanted to go. I couldn't have the nannies that I wanted to have. I couldn't have cash.
Wow. This is just a crazy thing to imagine, like, being such a public figure. Like, it seems like Britney had everything she wanted to have as a pop star to her prime, like in her prime era. But she was she was having nothing. She was allowed to do nothing because of her family. Wow.
And it was just demoralizing. So I
Of
was
course.
kind of like in this conspiracy thing of people claiming and like treating me like a superstar, but yet they treated me like nothing.
Yes, of course.
Well, for some,
I don't know, but this would totally like damage every person in the whole world. On the one hand, you're like a superstar that is celebrated by so many people, but the people that you appreciate and love, that that you surround yourself with, are the ones that treat you like nothing. I mean, boy, wow, this is the worst.
I started to get a spark back. I remember recording Glory, and for some reason, I think producing and making music. And I went to this little Spanish house, and I got the fire back in my eyes for some reason. And it was at the end of recording Glory, and my son named it. And things started kind of taking a turn because I started getting more confidence just for myself.
Right.
And I think with confidence, people kind of like, oh, wait, what's going on now? Like, she's speaking up a little bit more. But it was really tricky because I had to just play this role that everything was okay all the time. And I had to go along with it because I knew they could hurt me. So I'm sitting here, like, my friends all drinking alcohol and having fun in these parties and had no cash. I literally felt like a nun. My girlfriends from home came to visit me in a spa, and I couldn't even walk into the spa. And they had their feet doing pedicures in the water, and the 3 ices of bottles of champagnes before my show just sitting there. And I wasn't even acknowledged by them, my own hometown friends, when they would come to Vegas. And it was just, it was demoralizing, I will say.
Of course. That's the worst.
You also have to understand it's like, 15 years of touring and doing shows, and I'm 30 years old under my dad's rules. And all of this is going on, and my mom's witnessing this, and my brother is witnessing, and my friends are witnessing it, and they all go along with it. And I'm like, how am I the one working here and doing all this, but I don't get the side things that, the good stuff, I want to be able to play. I want to be able to have fun. Like, none of it made sense to me. Well, the last show in Vegas.
Wow, she's like just a money machine at this point with no feelings allowed. It's not allowed for her to have any desires, any wishes, anything in her life. It's just like, you're here to make money, and you can be glad if we don't do this and that because I'm your dad and I have all this power against you, and this is so brutal and so abusive and so unhealthy. I can't imagine what she has been through and how strong you have to be to make it through this. Wow.
This ended 2017. I went on tour, which of tour I was forced to do, but I was supposed to do a new show. So the new show came along.
I remember this. I remember how she announced, I think, Domination or something was it called? I remember how she announced this show in Vegas, and all she did was going upstairs, like being there, waving, and then she just left with a car, and everybody was like, what is going on at this point? Like, it was so off. All these people waited for her to be there, and she was there for like 15 seconds, and then she left. And I felt at this point that something was totally wrong, that she didn't want to be there, and that there's something.
One of the rehearsals, and I said no.
Yes.
Dance mode. I was like, no, can we do that? I don't want to do this. And then I just remember everything got really weird and quiet, and all the directors and producers went in the back room and just spoke. And that was it. And I was like, well, I don't know what's going on. So we all just kind of like, what happened. And then the next day, I was told that I had to be sent away to a facility, and that I was supposed to say on my Instagram the reason why is because my dad is sick and I need treatment, which was, I didn't want to ever go there. I remember my dad calling me on the phone, and I was crying, and I was like, why are you guys doing this? Like, what?
Yes.
And I just remember him saying, it's you have to listen to the doctors. The doctors are going to tell you what to do. I can't help you now. And I remember
I'm just getting goosebumps listening to this because I genuinely believe everything she says. Like, and I can't imagine how hard it is to say these words.
his last words were, now, you don't have to go, but if you don't go, we're going to go to court and there'll be a big trial and you're going to lose. I have way more people on my side than you and you don't even have a lawyer, so they don't even think about it.
Your own father is saying this to you?
So I did it. I went to the place. I was scared out of my mind. And none of it, again, made any sense of what they were doing to me. And again, I haven't wanted to share this because it's unbelievably offensive, sad, abusive.
It is.
And honestly, would anybody believe me?
I can so understand this. I totally feel her, but this is not okay.
Remember the main thing of when I was in that place, that my heart felt like it was frozen, like it was stuck inside. I wanted to scream and I wanted to get out. And I think by a needle and thread, it was the breathing peacefully inward that I missed the most. I felt like I was in a state of shock, sitting down, drawing 6 galls of blood every week, weak as hell. And then calling, and my family is in Destin at my beach house. It didn't make sense.
Wow. This actually is giving me shivers down my spine. Like, this really saddens me. I mean, Britney Spears, of course, but every person this would happen to. This is just horrible. Just abuse in the worst way possible. Abuse from the people that should love you and that should treat you well and should be passionate about you and your work. And I just feel so sorry for her, and I just feel sorry in general. This is nothing, this has nothing to do with pop culture. This has nothing to do with being a superstar. This is straight up inhuman. This is not acceptable on any level, and it doesn't matter if it's Hollywood or if it's just a small town thing. There shouldn't be a workplace where this kind of treatment is possible. There shouldn't be any system that allows something to happen like this. There's really something wrong with this world if this is okay.
The main thing, I to this day, I kind of stopped believing in God at that time because I didn't know how they could have 40 people leave my house a day and me work from 8 to 6 at night. Be seen changed every time I changed in the shower. No privacy, no door, nothing. How did they get away with it? And what the fuck did I do to deserve that?
Yes.
I couldn't even smoke cigarettes. People on death row can smoke cigarettes. I missed my AA meetings, although I was kind of forced to go to AA, and I'm not even alcoholic. I actually enjoyed it because I thought the people were brilliant. They shared their stories just to share their story, and in a circle of women and men who just are trying to be better people and trying to touch other people. I missed my AA meetings. I couldn't go in. I couldn't have the keys to my car, no cash, no cigarettes, no door for privacy. It changed me, watched me change naked every day. I did work 7 days a week. No weekends were off. They monitored what I ate. From 8 to 6 I work. Sometimes at 9 o'clock I'd be able to watch a movie. But finally, the owner of the whole facility that I was always texting to try to be able to go somewhere, just get out of the house, that place somehow. He had to let me go because the Free Britney campaign came out. With all the pink t-shirts. I saw it on a lot of the morning shows, and people by word of mouth, and I think just by my fans knowing by heart that something was up. I remember one of the guys were on an interview on the street, and he said, you know what, I could be totally wrong, and if I'm wrong, I'll be really, really embarrassed and I'll just go have a drink somewhere. He said, but I do feel like they're doing something to her right now, and I'm not surely what it is, but that's what my heart says.
Wow, that's so beautiful. And I really, it just came from this movement, and it really came from fans seeing her and seeing like that there's something wrong. And I'm not the biggest Britney fan, but I appreciate her music. I grew up with her music in the 90s and 2000s, and I, from time to time, saw some clips and saw what was going on and saw her, and I was like, there is something off. There is something completely off that I don't understand. There's like more to the story that we don't know. Like a lot of things in show business are, but I had a feeling, to be quite honest, and it's really thanks to her fans that this all happened.
But the whole thing that made it really confusing for me is these people are on the street fighting for me, but my sister and my mother aren't doing anything. To me, it was like they secretly, honestly liked me being the bad one, like I was messed up, and they kind of just liked it that way.
Yes.
Otherwise, why weren't they outside my doorstep saying, baby girl, get in the car, let's go? I think that's the
Agree.
main thing that hurt me. I couldn't process how my family went along with it for so long.
Yes.
And I mean, almost half a year, you know? And their only response was, we didn't know.
They didn't say anything because everybody wanted a piece of this cake that is called Britney Spears. Wow.
I'm like, I'm on the phone telling you right now, I'm here, please. Eventually, by the grace of God and praying on my knees, I left the place. But I was still scared. I was really, really scared. And from then on, I had support. I needed a lot of support. And I found two really, really great people that would come to my house weekly and just help me with my mind, because I didn't understand all the therapy that I had to do there. But why have therapy when it's forced?
Yes.
And in like a militant, almost prison-like way that like is where you're not even all there. None of it made sense. Well, I think my strength grew because I didn't reach out to my dad anymore. You know, she's gonna come running back to us because, you know, we've scared her and we're the bosses here. But I didn't. I just stalled and I stalled and I stalled and I stalled. And finally, I think they just knew I wasn't going back. And I finally got a lawyer.
Great.
A wonderful friend finally got me a lawyer.
Great.
And he really helped me through it. To me, the thing was, I think the trauma of all of it and just the whole thing together and going down to how much effort and work and heart I put in to what I did when I did work, even down to the details of how many rhinestones are going to be in my costume. They literally killed me.
Yes.
They threw me away. That's what I felt like my family threw me away. I was performing for like thousands of people at night in Vegas, the rush of being a performer, the laughter, the joy, the respect. I was shaking over 40 people's hands every night before a show, training weekly, 3 training sessions a week, AA meetings, therapy sessions. My dad literally, I was a machine.
Exactly what I said. Money-making machine.
I was a fucking machine.
Yes.
Not even human.
Yes.
Almost. It was insane how hard I worked. And the one time I speak up and say no in the rehearsals to a fucking dance move, they got pissed.
Yes. Wow, that's
I feel like the scare
insane.
tactic and how badly they treated me in the end, I think they thought I was going to come begging back to work again because they thought, you know, I needed them. Because they put me in an ignorant, scared state of mind to make me feel like I needed them.
This is abusive in so many ways. It's not even physical abuse at this point, but it's also psychological abuse. And as she said, she doesn't need them. they totally need her. And the reason why it got so silent around her is because she said, I'm not doing this anymore. And that was the feeling I had, that at one point she was like, what will you do when I don't agree to do this? Like, I'm the face. And if my face isn't smiling, you don't get any money out of it. And that's what I felt like this Vegas show, that was cancelled after all, but that was what I felt like was happening.
Do what we say, we're gonna show you who's boss. I didn't play their game anymore.
Great.
I got on my knees every day and I prayed. I held on like a needle and thread to some sort of existence because they had made me feel like nothing for so long. I knew in the deepest, deepest part of my core, I knew I'd done nothing wrong and I didn't deserve the way I'd been treated. I do think the hardest thing for me was I wanted to use my feet and leave and run or go somewhere. I had to be placed in a chair from like 8 to 6 every day. I couldn't take it. I talked to rabbis, I've talked to grown men about it, and they're like, we don't see how you did it. Honestly, I don't either. And through that, I remember saying, I don't believe in God anymore. I honestly deserve an award for acting like I was okay every day. I thought they were trying to fucking kill me. I remember one time I was backstage and I needed my inhaler. And I opened up to my assistant because I had my phone with me, which I'm not supposed to have my phone underneath the stage. But I said to her, you know what I'm doing. I was talking to a guy and he wanted to just leave the country with me. We had it all set up to just leave. And it was a secret relationship. And I said, my biggest fear was, what would my dad do if I did do something wrong? What if I left the country? What if they found me? And what would they do? And I said, I feel like they would lock me up or something or really hurt me. And she looked at me and she said, are you kidding me, Britney? Your dad would never do that to you. And I didn't even do anything wrong, and he still did it. I'm honestly more angry at my mom because I heard when reporters would call her at the time and ask questions of what was going on, she would go innocently hide in the house and she wouldn't speak up. It was always like, I don't know what to say. I just don't want to say the wrong thing. We're praying for her. I feel like she could have gotten me a lawyer in literally 2 seconds. My friend helped me get one in the end, but every time I made contact with a firm, my phone was tapped and they would take my phone away from me. And again, I get nothing out of sharing all of this. I have offers to do interviews with Oprah and so many people, lots of money, but it's insane. I don't want any of it. For me, it's beyond a sit-down, proper interview. I had no contact in that place for so long, and my heart would just want to stand up in my family's faces and scream and cry and throw a tantrum and go back in time and do exactly what I wanted to do at those times. Yeah, and might even spit in their fucking faces. Why? Because the pain my family gave me, sitting me there all day and not being able to use my feet, as they watch their grandchildren run bases to base in a family neighborhood as if I'm dead or I don't exist, honestly makes me look up and say, how the fuck did they get away with it? How is there a God? Is there a God giving 8 galls of blood weekly, not being able to stand up? I was so weak. And my family's at my beach house. I was scared, broken. I'm sharing this because I want people to know I'm only human. I do feel victimized after these experiences and end this if I don't talk about it. I have an amazing song right now with one of the most brilliant men of our time, and I'm so grateful. But if you're a weird introvert oddball like me who feels alone a lot of the time, and you needed to hear a story like this today so you don't feel alone, know this, my life has been far from easy and you're not alone.
Wow. I'm just speechless right now. I have to process everything she has said. there's a lot of things. There's a lot she has been through, and there's a lot that it seems like she's in a better place now, and it seems like she knows exactly what she wants to do. And I think it's quite an honorable motive to say, like, I'm sharing my story for other people to get something out of it. To see, like, I don't believe in God. I don't believe that this is fair, what is happening to me, and this could have easily killed me. Like, I was physically and mentally in a state where I didn't know where to go. And to say this and to say these things that happened to you, and I can understand that she didn't say it first, because imagine yourself being surrounded by people that you love and that you grew up with and that care about you, but all they do is tell you that you are the wrong one, that you are nothing, that everything that you want to do is not okay. You shouldn't be allowed to drink alcohol. You shouldn't be allowed to go outside when you want to go. You are not allowed to do this or to that. So imagine yourself being in the situation where everybody tells you you're the one that is wrong. I think what happens if she's like this introvert person that she talks about she is, and you're insecure as she said she is in the beginning, what's happening is that in the beginning you believe these things. You believe that something's not okay with you and that all people around you want the good for you. But I think what happened after time is that something clicked and something switched. And maybe it was this movement where she was like, wow, people that are not in my bloodline, people that I'm not close to, like fans from the outside, people from everywhere, they see that there's something off and that there's something not okay. And these people, I think, gave her the strength to open up and to be like, well, maybe I'm not in the wrong. Maybe it's them and it's not me. And this just shows how important it is to look out for one another, even if it's a pop star. I know this sounds ridiculous, but this could have gone on for years. I mean, 15 years in this situation. This sounds like literally hell. Imagine losing 15 years of your life, not being able to do the things you want to do, and just years passing by, working, but don't feel passionate about it and don't have these things that are joyful in your life. I'm really glad that I listened to the story, and I'm really glad that I reacted, but this is unbelievable. This really sounds like it's not real. Like, I don't know all of these albums that she mentioned. I know of Circus, but it's crazy to imagine all these years that have gone by where she had met fans and where she had met people, and nobody knew what was going on. Like, really knew what was going on. And I'm just happy that she's in a better place now. I'm happy that she can decide what she wants to do. I'm happy that she opens up about this. And this is such a story that I have to process as well. It's really a saddening story. Yeah, I have to process this. So thank you so much for watching this video. I would really like to know in the comments, what do you think of this story? What do you think of this recording? What do you think of the whole situation that was going on? Did you know all the things that were going on? Did you get a glimpse of it? Did you have like any moments like I did where you were like, there's something off? And at the end of the day, abuse is not okay. It takes time sometimes, but the karma is real, and even if it takes 15 years, there will be consequences. And I hope there will be consequences for the people. And of course, there are always two sides of a story. But yeah, I think this is just the beginning. And I can't wait for Britney to release a new album and talk about what happened and go to a show as well to talk about this, but just to open up to everything that happened. I would love to see a documentary of her or something, but yeah, that are my thoughts for now. Thanks for watching. So have a good day. Do the things that you want to do, and yeah, live every day to the fullest as you can, because it's not for granted, as you can see. Bye.